Dear students, welcome back to the series of lessons on Class 8 Social Science Geography. In today's episode, we will continue the last chapter of a geography textbook, that is Chapter 6, Human Resources. In today's episode, we will study the concepts of population change and population composition. The major objectives of today's lesson are to familiarize students with population change, understand the concept of migration, explore the concept of population composition, study the population pyramids of some countries, and differentiate working age population with other age groups. After studying today's lesson, you will be able to explain the concept of population change with relation to births, deaths, and migration, list the developments that have led to increase in population over time, and analyze the population composition of some countries. Dear students, in the previous episode, we learned how humans are the ultimate resource with their knowledge and ability. We also learned that the human population is unevenly distributed across the world, with some places having a very high density of population, such as in India. After that, we also studied the factors affecting the distribution of population around the world. Dear students, in today's episode, we will study the concept of population change. I am sure you would have observed a bird build its nest in your childhood. Have you carefully observed how the bird builds its nest? The bird, along with its partner, builds its nest over a period of time. After securing it from all dangers, the bird lays eggs which hatch in a few days, through which new chicks are born. With this, the population of birds on the nest increases. Unfortunately, not all chicks survive. Some of them die due to some health reasons. This reduces the population of birds on the nest. Finally, when the birds learn to fly and are confident and independent enough, they leave the nest forever and settle elsewhere. This event again reduces the population of birds on the nest, and the process repeats. Dear students, from this observation, we can find out that the population of the birds changed according to circumstances. Now consider the nest to be the world and birds to be humans. The population of humans increases with new births and decreases with deaths. Dear students, this is what we call population change. Population change refers to the change in population over a period of time. Dear students, human population has never been stable since the beginning. It has increased over time, but the rate at which population has increased varied over different situations over a period of time. Let us understand this concept in detail. Dear students, look at this image. What do you observe? Can you notice that the graph gets taller and taller with time? If you observe carefully, there is no strict pattern at which the rate of population increases. In 1804, the population of the world was 1 billion. Nearly 155 years later, in 1959, the population reached 3 billion. This is called population explosion. Nearly 40 years later, in 1999, the population doubled to 6 billion. Population explosion is when there is a large-scale increase in population over a short duration of time. Now, you may ask as to how did the population explode to such great extents in such short period of time? Let us find out. Look at this graph. This shows the events in history that have influenced the rise in population. Look to the left of this graph. One reason for the initial increase in population was the development of agriculture. With the development of agriculture, people had more food available with themselves, which influenced the rise of population. Some other factors were industrial revolution in the 17th century in Europe and the improvement in transport. Another important development that led to the rise in population was the improvement in medical sector. In the earlier times, people died due to various diseases such as tuberculosis, cholera, chickenpox, etc. These diseases did not have a cure, and thus many young children also died as a result. But with development in science and improvement in the health sector, we were able to find solutions and cure for these diseases, thus reducing the deaths. Thus, with the development of the medical sector, there was a significant rise in population. From this graph, we can find out that developments and inventions by humans have helped in the rise of population. Can you name one such recent development in the medical sector that has helped reduce deaths? Yes, you are right. The development of vaccines for the coronavirus have significantly helped reduce deaths all over the world occurring due to the virus. Dear students, as you would have already observed, there are three components to population change: births, deaths, and migration. Let us understand them in detail. As you have already known, with the increase in births, there is a rise in population. Births are usually measured using the birth rate. Birth rate is the number of live births per 1,000 people. Similarly, with more deaths, the population of a region decreases. Deaths are also measured using the death rate, which is the number of deaths per 1,000 people. Look at this image to have a better understanding of how births and deaths affect the population of a region. Births and deaths both are natural causes for rise or decrease in population. Hence, the difference between the birth rate and the death rate is called the natural growth rate of a population. The third important component that affects the population of a region is migration. Migration is the movement of people from one place to another over a period of time. Migration can be of two types. People move out of a certain place for several reasons, which can be called emigration or outmigration. When people move into a new place in search of better living, employment opportunities, etc., it is called immigration or in-migration. Can you tell how both these types of migration affect the population of a region? Yes, you are right. When more people leave a place or when there is emigration, the population of that region decreases. Similarly, when there is immigration in a particular region, the population of that region increases. Dear students, migration has become an important factor in determining population change in modern times. You would have observed people from villages moving to urban places in search of better employment, education, health, and living. Similarly, people from extreme climatic regions are moving to moderate climatic regions in search of a better standard of living. As countries become more and more developed, more people move into these countries in search of a better living. Which countries do you think would have immigration or emigration? Most countries in Africa and South America would be witnessing emigration. Can you guess why? This is because of the lack of education, health, and employment opportunities in these regions. Similarly, USA and most countries of Europe would be witnessing immigration or in-migration. This is because these countries have already developed and offer better education, health, and employment opportunities. Hence, these countries would be experiencing heavy immigration in current times. Now, you have understood the concept of population change. There are some countries in the world that are experiencing a rise in population, while some countries are experiencing a decline in population. Look at this map. You will notice most African and South American countries are experiencing a rise in population. Dear students, this is because of the rise in birth rates and the reduction of death rates because of improved health facilities. Therefore, with rise in births and decrease in deaths, these countries are currently experiencing a rise in overall population. Dear students, if a country has a large population, does that mean that it is progressing socially and economically? Let us find out with an example. Let us consider the countries Nigeria, Bangladesh, Japan, and Sweden. As you would have observed, Japan, Bangladesh, and Nigeria have a high population. But Japan is more socially and economically developed than the other two countries. Similarly, Sweden does not have a large population compared to Japan or Bangladesh, but is still economically and socially developed. This means that population alone does not determine the social and economic development of a country. The factors affecting the social and economic development are qualitative rather than quantitative. For example, the level of education among the population is more important than the total number of people living in that country. This is because only educated and skilled people can contribute to the development of a country. Similarly, factors such as health facilities, occupation of people, income levels and moral values determine the development of a country. People vary greatly in their age, gender, occupation, income and ethics. It is very essential to understand the characteristics of a population because they directly affect the development of a country. Dear students, this concept is called population composition. Population composition is the study of the structure of a given population. By studying the composition of a particular population, we can understand several things such as the number of males and females, the number of people in different age groups, the number of people following a certain occupation and so on. In this episode, we will study one such method of studying the composition of a particular population. Look at this image. This is called a population pyramid. The population pyramid is divided vertically into two, that is males in blue and females in red. It is also divided into three horizontally. The lowest section considers the age group 0 to 15. This age group is called the child population of a country. The second section is of age group 15 to 59. This group is called the working age group of a country. The final section or the topmost section is the age group of 60 and above and forms the old age population of a country. From the three age groups, only the second group or the age group of 15 to 59 can be called the working population of a country. This is because only this group contributes to the economic development of a country. All persons in the first group are considered as children and cannot be sent to work. You too fall under this category. Hence, this group relies on the working population for all resources. You too rely on your parents for all resources. Similarly, all persons in the topmost group, that is age 60 and above, form senior citizens of a country. They too cannot be sent to work. They rely on others for all resources. Hence, they do not directly contribute to the economic development of a country. Both the child population and old age population of a country are called the dependent population. Now, can you tell what would happen if a country had more of children and old age people instead of the working age population? Yes, you are right. If a country had more of dependent population, then it would become hard for the economy to sustain and the country to develop. From this image, we can also find out the number of males and females in different age groups. The population pyramid varies with country to country. The population pyramid of a country tells us the story of the people living in that country. Let us study the population pyramids of some countries. Look at the population pyramid of Kenya. Is it different from the pyramid you just saw? The number of males and females in this country are almost similar, but then the pyramid suddenly narrows as we move from the base to the top. Let us understand why. Dear students, if a country has high birth rates and high death rates, then the population pyramid would have a broad base and suddenly narrow at the top. This is because although a large number of children are born, they are not able to live for long, and hence the old age population suddenly starts to decrease. This is the case with Kenya. That is why you will find its population pyramid broad at the base and suddenly narrows at the top. Now, let us study the population pyramid of our own country, India. In countries where birth rates are stable and controlled and death rates among young population is very less, due to improved health facilities, the population of that country remains stable. Therefore, the population pyramid too remains broad at the base and slowly narrows at the top. This is the case with India. As you can notice, India has a large working population and many more will enter this group when child population grows. This is considered very healthy for the development of a country as more and more people enter the working population of a country. The last type of pyramid is the declining population pyramid, which can be seen in Japan. This happens when both the birth rate and the death rate decrease in a country. There are very few children born and the population grows into old age with improved health facilities. This leads to a narrow base and a broad top at the population pyramid. This is not considered healthy for a population as more and more people enter the dependent population. Dear students, you have now understood how the population composition of a country affects its development. Dear students, that brings us to the end of this chapter. Let us recall what we have learned. Population change refers to the change in the number of people during a specific time. The human population has never been stable since the beginning. Human population has increased over time, but the rate at which the population has grown varied from time to time. In 1804, the world's population reached 1 billion. In 1959, the world's population reached 3 billion. In 1999, the population doubled to 6 billion. This is called population explosion. Developments and inventions by humans have helped in the rise of population. Population can change because of any of the following components: births, deaths or migration. Increase in births lead to a rise in population. Birth rate is the number of live births per 1,000 people. More deaths in a society leads to decrease in population. Death rate is the number of deaths per 1,000 people. Migration is the movement of people from one place to another over a period of time. Migration can be of two types. People move out from one place due to various reasons, which is called emigration or outmigration. When people move into a new place in search of better living, employment, etc., then it is called immigration or in-migration. The size of the population alone does not decide the social and economic development of a country. Factors such as education, health, occupation, income levels and moral values determine the development of a country. People vary greatly in their age, gender, literacy, health, occupation and income. It is essential to understand these characteristics as they directly affect the development of a country. This can be done through a population pyramid. Population composition refers to the structure of the population. If a country has more of dependent population, then it would become hard for the economy to progress, as there would be very less working population such as in Kenya and Japan. A large section of population under the working age group is considered very healthy for the development of the country, as in India's pyramid. Here is some homework for you. Observe the population pyramids of these two countries. Based on your observation, describe the population composition based on their pyramids. Why do you think people from India migrate to other countries? Write a report and submit it to your teacher. Dear students, I hope you enjoyed today's lesson. We shall meet again in another video with another interesting topic. Until then, goodbye and happy learning.